All right. So I'll start us off. 3, 2, 1. Hey guys, welcome to the Faith and Fitness podcast, where we're about bringing godly change in the fitness space. So today we have an interesting person. He's a guy who I've learned from a lot of things. I've learned a lot about just training in terms of even how we structure, how we bring in people, and a guy even who practices faith in the fitness space. It's called Coach Chacha, all the way from the US. Welcome, Coach Chacha, to the Faith and Fitness podcast.
Thank you so much, man. I'm so glad I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Amazing. All right. We also have Coach Frank in the building. I'd ask him, but I can't see a CVs. So Coach Frank, you can join in. You can switch on your video and your audio. Yeah, I also have Coach Frank. You guys know him. So with no further ado, I can ask Coach Chacha. Coach Chacha, how long have you been in the fitness space? How long have you coached people?
Okay. So started coaching unofficially, just helping my friends when I was in university in 2008. So if math is right, 17 years.
All right.
Yeah. And since then, I got my degree in exercise physiology and have been doing a version of strength coaching, personal training since those days.
All right. So from 2008.
Yeah, from 2008. So, officially, yeah.
All right. So how many people have you transformed in the fitness space? Like how many would you say have impacted this number of people?
Wow, that's a very interesting question. Depending on how we're describing transformation.
Yeah.
They would all have to come forward, but a good number, if we're defining transformations just strictly in terms of, body composition, also parameters around that, helping people lose over 50 kgs or even more, those kind of things. Then there's a few of those. But really the transformations that are most impactful to me that I would count is when people's lives go from a path that maybe is not leading them toward life in its fullness, to living a full life that includes the worship of God through their fitness and their health, but not exclusively through that. So for those, I would say hopefully all of them.
Oh, wow. Amazing. All right. I like the fact that before today mostly the topic would be mostly about nutrition, but you shared something that has caught my ears or my eyes, all of them together. So you said that you transformed them through fitness, faith through fitness. So how has that been? How have you seen people transform through faith and fitness?
Man, honestly, we're all searching for truth, for purpose. That truth has been revealed in Christ. And so as a man of faith in Christ, trying to live out the principles and also share them when the opportunity avails itself, man, I would say living and trying to be an embodiment, but also welcoming the conversations. The most impactful way I would say in terms of including faith in the fitness is trying to be about the Father's business, is looking for or reading a principle, whatever it may be, and trying to embody it. And through that, I would say that a lot of opportunities to have conversations, faith-based conversations, encourage people, regardless of what their background is. It's a seamless transition, if you will, because I'm just trying to live it out. There's no. So, like I see what you guys do, you really incorporate opportunities for people to speak openly about faith. You yourself speak openly about faith, which is an encouragement to those of the faith and even those outside the faith. So a lot of the same things you do, I try to do as well. It's part of life, right?
Oh, yeah. Yours is interesting because I know you shared with me that majority you are praying before the workout. As we pray after, because people come at different timings. But it was interesting that you have it before the workout. Yeah. So I don't know, Coach, you have anything before? You can probably say hi and then. Coach Frank.
Hi. Hi.
Hey, Coach.
All right.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. We can hear you.
Okay. My name is Coach Francis. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Likewise.
I am hand in hand up with Sammy over there, trying to get to know more about the fitness space and open to learn. I'll ask my questions as we go on.
All right, amazing. All right. So I like the way you said that being about your father's business. One of the biggest thing I've learned is the thing that people I learned it from when you make your business God's business, He makes your business His business. Like I've seen us putting God ahead of everything. I've found people who come and they've sticked because of our Christian principles, but our values. So I like when you shared that. So that now let's go to the training aspect of things. How in terms of nutrition, there's something interesting you shared with me the other day. So I'd done a poll and asked that I've been struggling with sleep. So my alarm rings at 9:30, but I found myself like sometimes even at 1 a.m., 12 a.m. And one of the things that you shared with me is that you learned that eating well also helps you sleep well. So I don't know if you can touch on that a bit. That would be amazing.
Yes, absolutely. So, oh boy. Okay, we only have a few minutes. I'll try to make it concise.
All right.
Essentially, our bodies are designed to seek balance. So whenever we exercise or whenever we introduce any other stimulus, exercise, nutrition, work, stress, life, joys, sadness, all those, the body always seeks to balance itself. And so whenever we can help create the environment for balance to be easier, it will never be perfect, but it could get easier, then the body responds by making everything else function properly. So when it comes to nutrition, some of the things that we have to balance is the amount of basically, okay, for example, like if we're trying to develop our muscle function, maybe trying to develop some muscle for our health, our performance, etc., we have to make sure that we have a good, we call it a nitrogen balance or protein balance, right? So as we're exercising, we're not only replacing that which we've used, but we're also providing enough for the body to then adapt, maybe to develop a little bit more muscle, so that becomes the new set point. So there's always seeking balance, okay? Another thing that when it comes to nutrition that we need to balance is also the type of energy. So our body will break down fat, it will break down protein, it will also break down carbohydrates or glucose for energy. So the typical one that everybody is familiar with, at least in terms, is carbohydrates or glucose or carbs for short. The body has a way of managing the balance of glucose in the system. Why glucose? Because it is easily available, it's a quick source of energy, and more often we are consuming it in amounts that allow us to be able to function properly. So balance is the key. Whenever we're out of balance, for example, if our blood glucose is out of balance, meaning it goes up and it comes way down, goes up and comes way down, that is a stress to the body. And so whenever there is stress, now we talk about the different ways that we will manage the stress, maybe increase some of the way the body, responds to stress, cortisol, there's all these different chemicals. And that's when now the body can maybe start. Whenever you're stressed, you won't lose weight because it doesn't make sense to lose weight if you need maybe some energy to be able to fight the stress. When it comes to sleep, if you're thinking of, or if you're in a state of stress, you can say that you're out of balance. Sleeping is not going to come easily because whatever the stress is, we're designed to be able to handle the stress so we can get into a safe place. And then when we're in a safe place, we can rest and relax. What does all this mean? When it comes to nutrition, how we balance the amount of sugar, amount of glucose, protein, and everything that comes in, will allow us to not be overly stressed. So that's a long explanation to say, the way I eat, the way I recommend my clients eat, is in a way that allows the energy to be steady, to be available, to not be excessive, but also to not be too low, so that we have balance. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's okay.
Go ahead.
So it's more of like your energy levels being high. Like I found people who you get for example, I had one of our members who she's trying to lose weight, but she comes and works out, she under eats, but finds herself tired, exhausted, can't sleep, stressed out. All right. So you're saying in terms of reaching like your macros and everything. So in terms of eating the way your body type acts, like the amount of food that you need to eat.
Yes. Yes. So it's a we can look at it in terms of macros and calories, which is those are true. But if we go into the details of now the nutrients that are necessary, that's where we can really start to pinpoint some of the symptoms like fatigue, weight gain, hair loss, decreased body temperature, all sorts of things, because our body uses food, nutrients, as information. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when the information comes in, that information is said, okay, well, we need these particular molecules, we need these particular amino acids, we need these particular minerals in the brain, in the muscles, in the tissue. Why do we need them there? So that we can produce energy, so that we can be able to see, so that we can be able to do the things. When we don't have an adequate amount of those nutrients, then the body will start to pull from other areas, will start to decrease. Okay, I'm noticing not only am I not getting enough energy, but within that, the energy that I'm not getting enough of these nutrients. And so I'm going to decrease the function. So when somebody is coming in and they're putting in a lot of work, they're creating a large demand physically. So it's like knocking off some of the balance, but they're not meeting the demand with the right balance of nutrients that are necessary to help them now not only restore, but to adapt to a higher level. Then the body will just say, man, because I don't have a lot of energy coming in, I will just adapt. I will create balance by reducing how much energy I can expend. Because I'm not enough nutrients, I'll decrease the amount of energy that I can spend. And so things like that are very common when it comes to nutrition, because if we only look at it from calories in, calories out, and not looking at the specific nutrients within those calories, we can run into problems that are similar to what your clients. I also have clients that have those problems.
Oh wow! All right. What would you say about the members who think that eating one meal a day, they get the ones who try like cutting off, like fasting? What's your thought on fasted state and all that, and eating one meal a day?
One meal a day is great. Fasted, great. Intermittent fasting is great, provided that you're meeting your required nutrients. You're meeting your required, if you want to say, calories for the day. If, for example, to make the math simple, if you are expending 2,000 calories a day, work, exercise, life, etc., but you're consuming 1,000 calories in that one meal, my friend, it's not sustainable. And so if you're going to do one meal a day, or if you're going to do intermittent fasting, or we can talk about fasted training in a minute, but if you're going to be eating within a specific window, there's many benefits to that. But when it comes to that window of eating, you have to make sure that you're getting all that is needed by your body in order to accomplish the things that you're trying to accomplish. What I've noticed people run into is they will take on this lifestyle, whether it's intermittent fasting or one meal a day, and they may be able to sustain it for the short term, maybe some months, maybe for some people that really have a strong year or so, but eventually there begins to be cracks inside of that system where some things start to give and some things start to go. And that's due to maybe not consuming enough nutrients, which can be a problem.
Yeah, I think I've seen that a lot. I've seen people who, yes, when they fast, they don't deal with it. They don't get the nutrients that they are needed. So when they go back, they still have the wrong habits. So they don't deal with the wrong habits. So they fast, they what we call nyima themselves food.
Yeah.
And then they end up not eating the right nutrients. And then they end up looking emaciated. They look like they don't even have strength. They don't look like they're just tired all the time. Yeah. Coach Frank, any question on that part or for Coach Chacha?
Yeah, mine is on meal timing.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, does meal timing really make a big difference for results, or is it more about the total food intake in a day?
Yes. Great question. Does meal timing make a difference? And then just repeat that second part for me, please.
Does it make a difference in result, or is it more of the total food intake in a day?
So, yes, meal timing makes a difference. That difference is most impactful when some of the other factors are in balance. So you can take advantage of the effects of proper meal timing when things like sleep are in order, when, of course, you know that the nutrients that are coming in are good, when we've not talked about it yet, but digestion is proper, when the exercise load, frequency, all those things. Yes, meal timing does make a significant difference. Here's what I'll say, and maybe you can ask even a further detailed question. But when it comes to carbs, for example, which is a very common one, if you can orient your intake of carbohydrates around things like exercise, or if after you eat a meal, you can do some kind of physical activity, that can drastically change how those work on the body. So when it comes to meal timing or nutrient timing, there's ways to take advantage of the effects of exercise, be it that whenever we exercise, you just think of a very challenging exercise. Maybe you do some tire burpees, whatever, you lift some weights. Those muscles, they use. And so as a result, they open themselves to taking in nutrients because they want to replenish the energy they've used, right? So in that window of time, or around that window of time, you can really take advantage of how and what you consume, because you've created the environment for the body to then receive those nutrients and use them for the purposes that you've done. That's why exercise is so important, because it creates the stimulus, it creates the environment where the body can properly consume the nutrients into the muscles and everything to help recover. And also it can limit the amount of excess energy storage because it's being used towards the recovery. Does that answer your question a little bit?
All right. I have a question around the people who you've seen transform and the people who you've seen not transform. So what are some similarities that you've seen about the people who you've seen transformation? What are some similar things that you've seen about the people who are transformed?
Man, that's one of my favorite. That's the things I've been thinking about so much. I think that's my favorite question so far. The other ones have been good. Man, the people that transform, they're going to transform anyway. They just come to me because they don't have to, I save them time. The people that transform are so, I wish there was, dedicated is not even a good enough word. Committed is not even a good enough word. It is part of who they are becoming. It is part of who they are. Maybe they got off on a bad path. The people that are coming to mind now one of my clients that's just, man, so phenomenal. She came in, she had just laid to rest her family member, her mother, and she was reflecting on her life and saying, I want to live fully. There are ways that I've witnessed my mother love my mother, the ways I witnessed my mother lived, that she didn't take advantage of the life that she had. And as a result, it may have been longer. Regardless, I want to live a full life. And that was who she was. So when she came to me, she said, I want to be in the best shape of my life. And I'm the person who chose to help her with that. Regardless if it was me, if it was you, if it was Coach Frank, anybody, she was determined to be in the best shape of her life. It meant her, it was literally thinking of life and the finite life and also death. And how do I want for those things to come together? So that characteristic that all my clients that have been transformed physically, eventually there's even those other transformations we spoke of. It sounds dramatic, but it's not. It's not hyperbole. It's a matter of life and death. It is part of their life in regards to they're not fearing death, but they just recognize that death is real. And before I get to that point, this is how I'm going to operate in this world. Does that answer the people? They're committed to their core. It's part of their identity. It's part of their who they are. For those that are believers, it is an act of worship to God. It's who I am. I worship God through how I take care of my temple. That is their creed. That is who they are. So it's their identity. That's what everybody that's had the greatest results, they embody it. They would get the results anyway, is the way I look at it. Yeah. So go ahead.
Oh, I like that you said that, because you made me think of also our members who have been with us the longest and have seen great transformation. Those are the people who it doesn't matter if it's I'm the one coaching, it doesn't matter if it's Coach Frank coaching, it doesn't matter if we have Coach Ashinga, it doesn't matter who is coaching, they will they'll give out their best every day. They don't mind who is the one who's taking them through it. I think they look at us as vessels of what God wants to do through them, making them the best of themselves, and then they just do the best they can every day. So they don't mind about who is coming in.
Exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah. That's just to paint a small picture, because I don't think we have to emphasize this. I think they can see themselves, and we also know them. Those that don't get the results. When people come in and they're worried about small details that don't make a difference, right? Oh, man, the color of this Nini is funny. Oh, now on the radio. Oh, it's like, okay. Oh, my outfit is. Listen, we all have those preferences, but those that are dedicated have a very clear purpose. And like you said, it doesn't matter who's in there; they're going to give their best. They choose to be unaffected by the things that they can't control or the things that don't help them on the mission. Because it's I think anyway, I can go on about that, but
the ones who look, actually I agree with you. The ones who worry about things that are like, it doesn't matter, like you'll always find a fault in any area, even with the community itself. As we carry ourselves like our family, let's just put it like your own your own family has problems. So of course this gym family will have its own problem. So if you focus on it, then you're focusing on the wrong thing. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah. Wow. So I have a question I like what you shared about those two, but I have a question about US and here in Kenya. I know you're also a Kenyan, but you're also training there in the US. Yes. But what are some things you're seeing in the US that are now currently happening? Like, what are you seeing that's gonna come? Like, what should we prepare ourselves for in the fitness space?
Honestly, bro, what I'm seeing in Kenya, now this is all through social media, Instagram. Not many people are on YouTube, which I'm surprised about. But anyway, it's all on Instagram. What I'm seeing you guys do in terms of like what you're doing, you're ahead of the curve. Because you're recognizing what's most important. God made us for community. the amount of information that we have now, even with AI and that technology, for the person that is a doer, the person that's going to be like that person that gets the results, they now, if they have the right parameters, have everything that they need to get themselves in the best shape of their lives. And so what I see coming, I could be wrong, but what I see coming is more of people getting together as communities. Because when it comes to like knowing the right fitness stuff, the information is out there. You just have to find a strain and be dedicated to it for a while, and you'll get the results. Out here, I I don't think I'm the one qualified to speak on the trends that are taking place here that maybe will come there. I can just speak on what I see, what I observe in terms of how I'm interacting not only with my clients, but also seeing how certain programs, for example, like there's CrossFit. We all know about CrossFit. CrossFit as a modality, okay, some people maybe have some negative things to say about it, but nonetheless, it is what it is. But what it has done and has kept it alive and will continue to keep it alive is the type of community that it fosters. And so I think there's a split. There's people like me who are going to do one-on-one personal training. Not that I'm against group training. We've talked about this. But where there's people that prefer not to be, or prefer to just get direct work, get in, get out. I have business to do. Don't necessarily, they have their own community, so they don't need a fitness community. But then there's the people that, yes, they want the fitness, but man, we are hungry for community. So I don't think that there's a lag between here and there. I think that there's actually the time has collapsed pretty significantly in the last 10 years in terms of availability of information, trends, et cetera, because you're talking about the same things that I'm talking about. And the rate that you guys are learning, that I'm observing, and the depth in which you guys are learning, I think is actually really, I see, it's like I see the center of fitness, if you will, not exclusively just being in US. I think that it's always been in the world, but man, I don't know. I'm most familiar with Kenyan, content. So what I see coming from Kenya, it's like, man, yeah, these are experts, juggernauts, so yeah.
So you said there's no difference between us and the US in terms of the training, the modalities.
Nothing significant, man. We can go into some nuanced stuff, but for example, Coach Young Lee, who does the kind of the prehab and the joint specific stuff, I've done some, call it advanced training, but nonetheless, it's still for joint health. It's still for joint integrity. So that, if anything, focusing on the foundations and mastering those, which I see that everybody is doing there, that's always going to be true. All the cool kind of nuanced things, it's not going to take long. Everything's online now. So no, I don't personally see a significant difference in the industry here and there. I just think, we have, access to more information, or not more information, but we have access to information maybe more rapidly, but that's, if you have good internet connection, and I don't think it really matters that much.
All right, thanks. I think Coach Frank can ask a question, and then we can, last question, then we can conclude.
Mine still on lifestyle change. So my question is, how can we help clients see transformation as a lifestyle and not just a short-term fitness goal?
Man, such a good question. That's my second favorite question. It's their responsibility. When they come to you, your responsibility to them as a coach is to provide safety, is to provide an environment that allows them to, execute whatever the call is to provide them with information that they can activate, to communicate it clearly, to make sure that they are very well versed in executing the exercises and everything, you tell them properly. That's your responsibility. You teach them how to move well. You teach them how to, we can talk about nutrition and stuff. That's your responsibility. But it is their responsibility to do their work. It is their responsibility to be committed. It is their responsibility when they leave the gym to engage in the proper lifestyle habits that you all suggest. If it's good nutrition, good. If it's making sure you're going to sleep early, whatever the case is, I make sure that it's clear and for them to take responsibility for their lives, because we also have our lives. We also have our health. We also have our fitness. As this conversation was introduced, Coach Sam was confessing, which is so healthy, that, oh man, I'm not sleeping well. Yes, that's true. Guess what? Our clients also don't sleep well sometimes. So we're in this thing together. So I can't be responsible for you to be sleeping well and me. I mean, I can tell you to sleep well, but it's your responsibility. So when it comes to lifestyle, I think helping our clients, information and communicating it clearly is so important. Enthusiastically is so important, but also directly is so important. Making sure that you are holding the standard for yourself, and the standard that you hold for yourself, you're also finding where on that scale that the client is, meeting them where they are. Maybe they may not be able to eat perfectly at the beginning, but if you know that they're trying to, making sure that you're holding them to standard. Are you making the effort? What okay, why? If so, good. If not, why? And it's really communicating and constantly putting the responsibility on the client. Everybody has a different method in doing that, but I would say when it comes to supporting our clients in their lifestyle transformation, it's holding them responsible, also allowing them to take the role and responsibility, and holding the line for yourself. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah. All right. I think we'll end it there because of time. Thank you. We have a lot to speak about. I've already seen a topic. We need to talk about sleep. Even I think you read, there's a book you shared of Why We Sleep. Was it Why We Sleep?
Why We Sleep. Yep. That's a good book.
Yeah, Why We Sleep. Also, I know we need to speak about programming and the workouts. Yeah, so there's a lot we need to plan more. So I'll wrap it up there. Guys, what you heard. So remember our question, what are you hearing? What are you going to do about it? Let's discuss it in our small groups, and then let's have it. So guys, like and subscribe to our channel. Yeah, we do this every Thursday. We drop these videos every Thursday. Have yourselves a wonderful day. Right. And so you can